This is the DSLR Canon T5i, but this instruction video will also work for the other DSLR cameras in the Tiger broadcast program. One of the first things you will want to do is make sure you have the correct lens for what you will be shooting. We will be using the 55 to 250mm for this video. To change the lens, you will want to press down on the button next to the lens and twist the lens off. Then, to place the new lens back on the camera, you will want to line up the white dot on the camera and the white dot on the lens, and then twist the lens onto the camera until you hear a click, letting you know the lens is secure on the camera. When starting a new project, the next step is to format your SD card. This will clear the card of all data that is currently on it to make room for new. However, this does mean that you will need to double check that you can erase everything before formatting. You can do this by clicking Menu, scrolling over to the slide that says Format, and click the OK button twice. Next, you will want to change your ISO. ISO is how sensitive the camera is to light. The ISO on this specific camera goes from 100 to 6400. You can remember what these numbers mean by thinking the lower the number, the darker it will be, and the higher the number, the brighter it will be. Do this by clicking the ISO button located on the top of your camera and using the pinwheel arrows to move right and left to pick the setting that works best for your shot. After setting the ISO, you will want to adjust the white balance. White balance will adjust the color of the shot. This allows you to avoid shots that are too blue or too orange. The different white balance settings on the Canon are Shade, Cloudy, Tungsten, White Fluorescent, and Custom. When you are shooting inside of school, you will most likely be using White Fluorescent or Tungsten. Now that you have decided on your ISO and white balance, you can finally change your shutter speed. Shutter speed is very important to use because it allows you to fine-tune your shot more than your ISO does. To change the shutter speed, you turn the dial that is located on top of the camera next to the ISO button. Shutter speed, however, is opposite of ISO when it comes to the numbers. When referring to the shutter speed, the higher the number, the less light you are allowing to come into the camera, but the lower you go, the more you are letting in. Finally, after you have changed your ISO and shutter speed, you may still want a slight change to your picture, and that would be your aperture or f-stop. This button will fix the small imperfections in the exposure of your shot. Hold down on the AV button and use the same dial for shutter speed to change the f-stop. These numbers work in the same manner that shutter speed does. You are finally done fixing the exposure and color of your shot. Now all that is left is to zoom in or out and focus on your subject. To zoom, use the larger of the two dials on the lens, and to focus, use the smaller dial. This video should have taught you how to use white balance, ISO, shutter speed, and f-stop. Now it's your turn to try it out.